Good morning everyone. I am so sorry that we are so late, but if we had been filming in the last 45 minutes it would be more of a comedy film, because if every disaster could go wrong this morning, every disaster can go wrong. So welcome to Carol, John, Maria and Laura in the Sugar and Crumbs team today. Okay, we're all here live and today we're making marshmallows. Now, I've never made marshmallows myself, but Laura makes them on a regular basis, but not since I've been on a diet, and they are absolutely amazing. And we make them with the flavoured icing sugars, okay? So Laura's already made a batch because they take about 45 minutes to set. So she's already made a batch today of raspberry ripple flavour. We are going to make the chocolate mint flavour and of course marshmallows. They're amazing in the Turkish delight flavour. Now, if you can hear that little screaming in the background, it's not that we've been gagging John or anything. It's baby Harrison. So Laura, do you want to come forward? So I am going to look after baby Harrison today, and Laura is actually going to chat to you. He's absolutely exhausted. He needs to go to sleep. But you know how they are. They're cranky at this time. So Laura's going to take over the demo. And I'm just wondering where my John's gone so we can shout out some hellos. So I'm sure he'll be back any second. So just to remind you, Maria, can you go and find John for me, please? Because we need to shout out some hellos, please. So just to remind you that the sale is still on. The icing sugars are doing really, very well. They're £2 a bag. Make sure that you grab those bags now. It finishes on Sunday at midnight. So Laura, do you want to just go and see if you can calm him down a moment? Finishes at Sunday night at midnight. So John's back with us. So finishes Sunday at midnight, and I've actually lost where I am now. So John, I've lost exactly where I am because I've got myself disorientated. This is what happens.
We have lots of viewers.
Pardon?
We've lots of viewers. We've got 62 viewers, so lots of regulars at. We've got Lindsay, Ria,
Lindsay who, John?
Lindsay McIver, Lynn Sprules, Joe Fitchett, Jenny Scholes, Louisa Johnson, who I think is again. Louisa's all the way from Australia. We've got Lynn Hill. We've got Rachel. So lots of regulars and also quite a few people that I don't recognise.
Right, so you know what, I'm really glad there's lots of regulars, because the regulars can vouch that we are normally a little bit more organised than we've been this morning, okay? I'm always on fire, as you know, and John's disappeared yet again now, so I still don't know who we're talking to. But basically, let's go over it again. We're making marshmallows today. We're making 3 types. Laura's already made one. What flavour did you make, Laura?
Turkish delight.
Oh, she's already made Turkish delight, sorry. She's going to make chocolate mint and she's going to make raspberry ripple, okay? What I'm actually going to do is now I'm going to let Laura take over. All the links are on the tab, okay? And anybody who hasn't going to watch all of it or they want to do replay, it will be pinned to the top of our page after the session, and this afternoon it will actually go onto YouTube, but it won't go on this afternoon onto YouTube until about 2:30, because we want to make sure all the other marshmallow is nice and set, and we can take some pictures on it to add on to the end of the session. So let me just welcome the team to you. So I've got 2 Lauras, so it's always confusing. Don't close that door, it's too hot. Okay, so in our madness, come on round, Laura. So we've got 2 Lauras on the session today. Okay, we've got Laura daughter. Laura, come on in, both of you. Just so you know who they are, we've got Laura daughter, okay, with baby Harrison, and we've got office Laura. And we've sent Laura because basically, with our cock up with the marshmallows earlier. What did we do with Laura? What did you do?
Well, what I did was when I was melting the gelatine, you have to have it with, you have to use warm water, and I'd let it cool down too much, so my gelatine had got too thick. So when I put it into the marshmallow mixture, it just went rock hard. So at least I can tell you about it, and if that happens, you just need to know that you start again.
So Laura will talk you through that. I'm going to take the baby, and the reason this Laura's late is because she's been running around the shops getting some more shopping. So I am going to leave John. I'm going to leave John to look after you.
So just wait for him to go out of the room. So sorry about that. He's 4.5 months old now, and it's obviously a bit more difficult when you're trying to bake. But at least that it's just, you know, normal, like most people's houses, that sometimes you just have these little disasters, but you can carry on. So anyway, we're going to make the 2 different types of marshmallows today, which my mum's already talked about. So I'm going to start by making the raspberry ripple one. So I'm just going to quickly run through the ingredients that we've used, well, that we're going to use today. So I've already weighed out here 200 grams of granulated sugar, and it is important to use this and not caster sugar, because caster sugar is too fine. You do need that heaviness from this one. I've got some water, which we're going to use into the sugar mixture. We're going to use 200 grams of the raspberry ripple icing sugar, and we're going to use 50 grams. As you'll see on the recipe, it says 250. It's because 50 grams we're going to use later when we chop them up. So I'll just pop that there in a moment. So I've got gelatine sachets, which are here. They come in a pack of 3, and that's what we need. We need the whole 3. So I'll just pop them there. The liquid glucose, I find that the Dr. Oetker one is available in most of the supermarkets that you normally shop in, so it's quite easy to find. They don't do it in the smaller ones, you do have to go to a big supermarket, but you need 200 grams of this. So as this is 140 grams, you're going to need 140 from one and then take 60 from another. So the last thing we need is 180 mils of hottish water, but just from the tap, not boiling. So I'm going to get that now. So that's what I did wrong before, because I got the hot water before I started and I wasn't ready to start using it. That's why my gelatine had set, because I'd then left it and it had gone cold. So we're just going to start by taking the gelatine sachets. Now people do always ask me about a vegetarian version of this. So you can buy the Dr. Oetker gelatine in the vegan gel. Now that one I have used before, and it is the only one that I have managed to get to use in the marshmallows. I do know other people have tried the supermarket's own brand, but they just, for some reason they haven't been working very well for people, so I would use the Dr. Oetker one. So once we've got all these gelatine sachets in here, I'm just going to use this little whisk, which is quite a handy one, and I'm just going to give that a good whisk. You need to make sure that all this gelatine is dissolved well into that water, and while we're getting everything else ready, you do need to keep coming back to this and making sure that you're whisking it so that it doesn't go hard like I did before. Okay, so I've got a heavy based pan here. Heavy base just means that it's got this larger bottom on it. That stops your sugar from burning. If you use a normal pan, then the sugar can burn easier. This just gives it a better distribution of heat. So I'm just going to set that on there, and I'm going to add in the 200 grams of granulated sugar, and then I'm just going to measure out 200 grams of the raspberry ripple icing sugar. So we're going to add that in there, and then with that we're going to take 3 tablespoons of water. This is just cold water out of the tap. 1, 2, 3, and then the last thing that we need in here is our liquid glucose. Now, as I said before, we're going to use 200 grams, so there's 140 in here, and I've already pre-emptied some out of here, so I've got 60 in there, so I'm going to be using both. Now the easiest way and quickest way that I find to get this out is just to snip off the bottom, because it is super sticky. Lift up the lid just so you can get a bit more release, otherwise it does take quite a lot of time to get out of the tube, and you are going to get it on your fingers, but you wouldn't be baking without a little bit of mess. then here's the other one that I've already used. We'll just get the rest of that out. Might just give that to somebody. Thank you. I'm just going to quickly wash my hands. Okay, so just to come back to the gelatine again quickly, just give that another whisk just to make sure that it's not setting while we're getting the sugar ready. So I'm going to turn this on to medium heat, and I'm just going to use a silicone spatula, and we're just going to start stirring it. Now it does look quite dry at the beginning, but as the sugar melts it turns into a liquid. So we'll just keep stirring it until it's all melted in. So what we're looking for with this is to melt it all down, and then when it starts to turn into a liquid form and it starts to bubble, that's when we are going to let it bubble for 5 minutes more, and then we're going to take it out. If you do go over, then your sugar is just going to turn back to a solid form again if we heat it for too much and then try and use it. So I don't use a sugar thermometer for everything because normally I can't find it, and it just seems to be the case in every baking that I do. There's something that I want to use, I can never find where it is. So I'm going to show you how to do it without the thermometer. But on the recipe, if you wanted to use your thermometer, then go ahead, it's no problem. You're looking to get to 112 degrees on your thermometer. Okay, so we're starting to get this melted sugar now. So just let that melt a little bit. Again, back to the gelatine, making sure that no lumps are forming in there. Keep coming back to your sugar. If you leave it, then it is going to start to burn on the bottom, so that's why it's important that you are stirring all the time. So with the one that I've already pre-made, which is here, it's just setting. I'll just show you. The camera, we're looking down on it or sideways. Which way, John? It's just setting at the moment. So this is the Turkish Delight one. So it's just show you that I have coloured it slightly in a light pink. So I'm going to show you at what point is best to do that. And then later that's going to be the one that I'm going to chop up and show you what you do once you've sliced it. Give you some little tips on how best to slice it, because as marshmallow is really sticky, it just gets everywhere. Okay, so that should start to bubble now. If I just let it go still, then I can see if any bubbles forming. I'm just going to give the gelatine another quick whisk. Has anybody got any questions?
If they cut the liquid glucose, can
Yes.
they store it, or does it have to be used
No,
immediately?
yeah, they can store it. I've made marshmallows and then left it 6 weeks and used it again, and it's been absolutely fine. So yeah, don't waste anything if you don't need to. I just normally try and fold it back over, put a bit of sellotape around the top of it, just to stop it from leaking, and then I just keep it in the cupboard.
Everyone's saying you're looking good and it's nice to have you back.
Thank you. I know it's been a while. I was a bit nervous this morning coming in because obviously it's been a long time since I did my last Facebook Live, and you just get all those first time nerves again. And then, even though I've done quite a few videos with Maria, it just, I don't know, it's something about talking to people that you can't see that just makes you nervous. But I'm alright. I'm alright once I start going. Just need to get going and then I'm fine. Okay, so we're starting to get a few little bubbles in here now. So once it starts bubbling, it's 5 minutes from then that we're going to start to take it out. So I don't know whether you can see that the bubbles forming. Can you see them? I need to move it, yeah. So we're just going to give it a couple of minutes. Because you know that it's close then. When it's bubbling, it's normally about 100 degrees. So 5 minutes is just giving it that extra time to reach the 112 mark. Now, depending on the heat that you've got on, and all different, you know, people's hobs are different everywhere. You just want to keep an eye on it, and as you're stirring, once it starts to move away from the pan, so if you can see when I'm stirring, I can see the bottom of my pan. That's my sign that it's very close. So what else you need, and what we're going to be using next, is the mixer, which I've got set up just over there. Just give this another quick stir. Okay, so this is really bubbling away now. So this is what we wanted from that. So I'm just going to turn that off. It's got there quite quickly. Pan's a lot bigger than what I normally use, so obviously the surface can heat up a lot faster. So like I say, it's not always 5 minutes. It just depends on your pan and your hob. But that's what you're looking for, that nice bubbly mixture. So we're just going to move over to the mixer. So I'm just going to go over here and bring in my gelatine with me. Okay, so I'm just going to see if we can do it this way because the camera's that way. Sorry, Maria. So we're just going to pour in the sugar mixture in here. Like so, and then get that under a hot tap just so it doesn't set. That's going to be hard to get out later. And then straight away get your mixer on. So you just want it on a lowish setting, pour on a KitchenAid. Just for a couple of minutes, we're going to let that mix away. So it's cooling it down at the same time. And then we're going to get ready to pour our gelatine in. So I'll just give it about 2 minutes just to whisk on its own first. And just keep giving your gelatine a whisk while you're waiting, whether you can see that. New camera system since I was last here, so all new. Okay, so you can see that the mixture is slightly sticking in, and it's quite light. That's what we're looking for. Sorry. I'm just going to take my whisk out of there. And then while the mixer's on, we're just going to start pouring in the gelatine quite slowly. Just because I want to make sure that it's evenly distributed through that sugar mixture. So with the veggie gel, you do exactly the same thing, you're just using veggie gel instead of that one. Okay, so now that that's all in, I'm just going to turn it up slightly to a tip, and then we're going to leave that for 10 minutes roughly. So as I said before, I've coloured the other one, and I'm going to tell you at which point you will need to colour it. You don't want to start colouring it until it's cooled down quite a lot. So we're going to pop that over to this side, and we're going to prepare the tin. So I've just got a brownie tin here, and I've got some vegetable oil with this handy little brush. Now I always use a silicone brush, and the reason being is none of the little crunch hairs come out, and you don't want them to be marshmallows because you're never going to get them out. So got this in, got a little bit of icing sugar in it, but that's fine. And we're just going to get something filled. And you're just going to lay it over the tin, pushing it in as best as you can.
Now the question, don't you use quick egg whites?
No. There is marshmallow recipes that you can use that use egg whites. With this one, we don't use any egg whites. There's different variations. I just find that this recipe works really well. It's quite easy, and if it works, you don't need to change it. So, just on with this one. So I'm just going to dip my brush into the oil, and I'm just going to use this little brush to put a little layer of grease across my cling film. And the reason why I'm doing this is because marshmallow is super sticky, it does stick to absolutely everything. So this is just going to stop that from happening. So you just need to brush it as best as you can all on the inside. And that's going to help you later on when you want to take it out. And then this little extra bit that I've laid over here is going to be the top of the marshmallow. So again, I'm going to put it over the top of the marshmallow, so I don't want that to stick either. So we're just going to get that side ready. So, because this is raspberry ripple, I am going to be using some jam to stir through the marshmallow when I put it into the tray. And the best way is to get your raspberry jam. You can heat it up if you wish, just to get it really smooth. As this one's quite a smooth one, it hasn't really got any lumps in, I'm not going to. So just give it a really good stir, getting that ready for the marshmallow. Just want to make sure that there's no lumps in it. So I'll put that aside. So as we are waiting 10 minutes for this marshmallow, I'm just going to get started again and repeat everything that we've already done with the chocolate mint, so that while we're waiting for this one to do, you can see what I've already done, and if you miss anything you can watch it again. So I'm just going to pop this out of the way over here, and I'm just going to give it a little wipe. So with the chocolate one, we're using the mint chocolate. So again, I've got my 200 grams of granulated sugar, and I've got my mint chocolate icing sugar, which I'm just going to weigh out. No need to sieve the icing sugar. People do ask that a lot, but the icing sugar is quite fine. It's only if you've already had your icing sugar open and it does look really lumpy that you sieve it, but otherwise you don't need to.
So the question, would it be easier just to use an oil spray or even cake release rather than brushing on the...
Because with cake release, when you cook in your cake, that cake release kind of disappears when you're cooking it. With this, you put in that marshmallow onto the oil and it doesn't disappear. So the only thing with the cake release base, it might taste a bit different, whereas the vegetable oil, once I've soaked it in the corn flour and icing sugar mixture, when I put it up, you can't taste anything. So give it a go by all means, but if you've got vegetable oil, then use that. Okay, so we've got another pan here. So we've got our 200 grams of granulated sugar, our 200 grams of chocolate mint icing sugar, 3 tablespoons of water, 1, 2, and 3. And then we are going to make the gelatin again. So I'm just going to open that, and I'm just going to set this onto the low heat. Ready. So I just need to get our liquid glucose into this. While that starts melting, I'm just going to chop open this one. again, I'm getting all sticky. And then we're just going to use 60 grams out of this one. So while my hands are already messy, we'll carry on. So don't worry if your liquid glucose looks like that, it's just slightly thicker, but it's fine, it will all melt away. You can get 60 grams in there of that. That one's not finished yet. So I'm going to give that a little stir. I'm just going to get my gelatine ready. So do you want to stir this or no more? Just push that. Sorry, I've got in a sticky mess and now I'm like,
What do you need to do?
I just need you to just give that a quick stir.
Hi everyone again. I tell you, it's been chaos this morning. I think we're going to get childminding because this is in Paris and he's definitely not a happy baby today. He was all bright smiles and everything until 5 minutes before we went live, and then he went completely bonkers. I don't know whether he felt the panic in here when Laura had, I'm sure she's explained to you what went wrong with the marshmallow. And then Office Laura has been to 3 shops to try and get more gelatine and glucose, and then I found some in the other kitchen. We had to get her back. And then of course John disappeared, and then we went live actually on my personal page. So when we went live the first time, we actually went live on our personal page and we wondered where you all were. So I've done about 5 minutes of the session and we were on the wrong page. So we had to go in there, delete that very quickly. Delete that very quickly. So now I've got my eldest son, who's just had 2 babies, minding Harrison. So don't worry, he's not alone. He's screaming his head off with Wesley. So Wesley's got good practice because, as you know, he's got a. Is he 4 weeks old now, Ruby?
Yeah.
So Ruby's 4 weeks old, doing exactly the same thing. But I'm sure that he came here today for a bit of peace and quiet. Got Harrison dumped on him. Right, Laura, how's this going?
So I'm just going to come back to the marshmallow in the mixer. I'm trying to speak as loud as I can so that you can hear me. So this is the point that you want to add any colour in. So we've got a couple of minutes left on this marshmallow, and as you can see it's fluffed up really nice, it's increased in size, and so if you want to colour it, add in your colouring now so it's just got that little bit of time to mix in before it's coming out. So I'm just going to cover that up just so it's not as noisy. I'm going to come back over to here. Thanks for that. So as you can see, the sugar mixture has melted down nicely. So I'm just going to get the gelatine ready. So again, I've got 180 ml of hot water from the tap, not boiling, and I'm just going to add it in. As I add it in, I'm just going to give it a whisk. And it's really important that you do keep whisking all of the time with the gelatine because it does start to set pretty much quite quickly. Get all that in there, get rid of the rubbish. And just mix all that in. And then coming back to our chocolate mixture, we're getting some nice bubbles here. So it does take a bit of time, but once you do know how to make the marshmallows, it is very easy. And before today, I've never had any problems. But I think the distraction of the baby and I don't know. I just wasn't. I don't know.
Let's just say it's been a fun experience.
It's the good thing is that things do go wrong, and if you know where you're going wrong, that's half the battle. So we're getting some nice bubbles here.
Don't worry. We've left all those problems with your big brother now. Just remember, he never had to do anything for years.
No, and I am on number 3, so it's about time that he did help. So that's getting exactly where I want it to be. My gelatine is melting in nicely, so I'm just going to turn this off the heat. Just pop it aside a moment, because I think our marshmallow will be ready to come out. So let's that aside.
Do you want me to stir it then so it doesn't go down again? That's too cool last time, doesn't it?
Stop that there. So this is what you're looking for. Nice, fluffy texture, piece inside white. It's all just beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get my tray back over into position here. And I'm going to, where's my spatula? Get a spatula guide.
Just to know that this still isn't on the heat, this is just...
Yes, off,
Just
off the
stirring
heat
it.
now. So
And what
what
do you
you
want
need
me to
to
do with
do,
this?
just keep whisking it so it doesn't set.
Right,
So
you
you
keep
just
whisking
need
that.
to scrape down. Obviously, don't ever try and make two at the same time. I'm
No.
just doing this because we have such a big wait in between
And a screaming
marshmallow
baby.
being done. It just made sense to start the other one and run through everything again. So I'm going to bring this over here. And if you can get that attachment off and get the next one on, which is behind you, we can get the chocolate one in. So we've got our pre-greased tray here. And we're just going to, can you see this, John? I'm just going to get out the marshmallow. So as you can see, lovely texture, it's silky, fluffy, everything that you want from a marshmallow.
You on the top now.
And it smells delicious. Okay, so get it all in. Then you're going to get a nice big chunky marshmallow at the end when we slice it up. So as you can see, it's super sticky. Okay, so we're just going to try our best to spread that into the corners, like so. And as this is raspberry ripple, we're going to be adding in the jam.
Yeah.
So
Now, at this stage, you will want to lick the bowl and the spatula, but you'll notice that I put it straight in the sink straight away with water on before I stick my fingers in there, because it's just so good.
Okay, so what we're going to do is you're just going to dab a few blobs. Do you want to pour that into
Pour this in.
there?
Yeah. I wanted to be here today to watch this, so I know how to make it myself. So I'm just pouring this straight in here,
So
right?
yeah,
All
so
right.
pour it straight into the.
Right.
Okay, and once it's all in, just need to turn it onto a low setting. You're back over this way. Right, so now we've got our don't even know what I'm saying. Now we've got our jam in the marshmallow. I've just put the blobs in. I'm just taking a cocktail stick and I'm just going to swirl through the jam. Do anything that you want and swirl it. You can do lines, whatever you fancy. It just gives that nice effect, and what happens is the jam sinks down a little bit into the marshmallow so that when you chop it up, you can see the jam in the middle.
So, John, is there any questions then? This is happening. Does anybody want to ask anything?
What's the shelf life of marshmallows once you've made them?
So once you've made them, they're normally best eaten in the first 5 days, up to a week, I would say, just because after then it just starts to get a bit sticky. I normally keep it in a mason jar or into a plastic container, but to be honest, not very often that they last longer than 5 days.
To be very often,
Like these won't.
they won't last any longer than when they're ready.
So the grease side of the cling film is going to go over the top of there, and we're just going to tuck it in. And then this side that is dry is just going to go over again.
Any more questions?
Like that.
Do you want to tell them out?
And then we're just going to leave that to set. So just to quickly go back over to this one.
John,
Just
on the
take
other
the
camera.
gelatine. Thank you.
On the other camera,
So
John.
this has had a couple of minutes to mix in the mixer. And again, I've got my gelatine here. These whisks are really handy little whisks. I don't know if you can see that, John? Which is really handy for this kind of thing because it is getting right to the gelatine. It's not it's not missing any bits. And what we're going to do is...
Laura, just the way you're aiming, you just pour it under that camera there. See that camera? Just show it under that camera what you need it to. You don't see it. Go back a bit. Yeah, go on, get to the mixer. Yeah, there, that's it. Spread it on there. Show.
So you're just making sure that the gelatine is all mixed in, and it's when it's all mixed in, it gets like this little froth on the top, and that's what you want. If you haven't got any froth, then it's because it's not really mixed very well. And if it's not mixed very well, it sticks to everything. Very well. So I'm going to start to pour this in again, you see. And again, we're just going to do that slowly, pouring it in, just so it gets distributed evenly. You'll see that it is mixing in really well into the chocolate mix. So you can use any of our icing sugar flavours, so you can do any type that you want, depending on the season, or obviously raspberry ripple one's nice for Valentine's Day gift. Done the gingerbread flavour and vanilla flavour at Christmas, and then any other time, it's just whatever I fancy that week.
Laura, we asked the question, do you put them in the fridge to set them?
I don't put them in the fridge, but every time that I have made it here, I leave it out and Mum puts it in the fridge, because she likes putting things in the
I
fridge.
thought they have to go in the fridge.
But yeah, that's what she always said to me. I thought that's what I was meant to be doing, but you don't have to put it in the fridge. It sets just as fine at room temperature. If it was a very, very extreme hot day, very rare in England, so if you're in another nice country that does get good weather, you might want to put it in the fridge just to help it to set quicker. But if you're not in a rush, you can leave it out on the side, no problem.
Can you freeze the marshmallows?
I've never frozen the marshmallow, but we can freeze some of the one that we made today and we can let you know.
And if we were going to freeze the ones we made today, would we wrap the tin in cling film several times? To
Well,
protect it from water or anything like that?
Yeah,
It's a good
definitely.
experiment to give it a go.
While somebody's asked, we might as well, and then we can answer it in the future, because some questions that we get, we don't always know the answer, but we do try our best to find out for you. So I will chop off a little bit, wrap it up in some cling film, and then in a couple of days we'll take it out and come back to it. Maybe you can show them on Monday night, or I don't know, let them know.
And what people need to realise what they're making here, they're making fresh marshmallows.
Yes.
They're not making the marshmallows like you get in shops that have got preservatives to keep for months on end.
Yeah.
These are fresh marshmallows.
Yeah, this is homemade marshmallows, so this is if you want to give it a go, you want to make a special gift to somebody, or you just love marshmallows and can't buy enough, then this is an alternative for you to make it yourself. It is quite fun. The kids love making marshmallows with me. One, because it's really messy, and two, because they're obsessed with marshmallows and they love chopping a bit off and squashing it between two biscuits.
Not only that, with the flavoured icing sugar, they taste amazing.
Anything I make at home with the icing sugar, the kids absolutely love, but marshmallows and fudge are their top two things.
But what I can tell you is we have Lindsay McIver, I think she's watching, Lindsay. Now Lindsay McIver, since you did your first demo last year on the marshmallow, I call her the Marshmallow Queen, and she is watching, and she is a Facebook follower from us who we've got to know very well, and she does follow a lot of our recipes. And Lindsay will be able to vouch and probably post some pictures after of how many she's made and how easy they make. And I call her the Marshmallow Queen.
Yeah.
I think that's what she should change her name to. Hey, Lindsay?
Hi, Lindsay.
So we keep them at room temperature to set.
Yeah. So this is the one. If I move over to the other camera, you might be able to hear me, but can you hear me all right here?
Just tell Geraldine Tisby has asked them, how long do they need to set?
I normally give them at least 45 minutes. So these ones I made this morning, well, after my disaster, these ones were made at 10:30.
So yeah.
So I would have finished making it at about 10 to 11 when I'd finished, the whole sequence of making it. So it was very close to not being made at all. But I really wanted to show you what it looks like when it's set and give you some tips on how to chop it up because of how sticky it is.
Well,
So I am going to show you how to chop this one up.
So I'm just going to say thanks to everybody who's watching, because a lot of you are answering questions for us, and that's what I really like when you're a community. You know, we're all here live as a community, everyone's helping out and answering the questions, Laura, because I know I'm getting you to repeat a lot of them. So, Ria has said, I've never made marshmallows, you guys make it sound simple.
Everything is simple once you know how, and that's why we're doing these videos for you. We want you to be able to take our recipes and do them yourself. I'm not any sort of marshmallow professional or professional in anything else. I just really enjoy baking at home. I did start with cakes and I've branched out doing these other things, and the more that I make, the happier it makes me feel, because I just love turning up at different places and saying this is what I've made, and for me that gives me a sense of achievement. So that's what we want for you. We want you to be able to feel like you've achieved something and you've done something on your own that other people are going to be really impressed with.
Right. Then the next thing is, can the chocolate marshmallow be able to be put on top of hot chocolate? I don't see no reason why not.
Once it's set, if you put it into a hot chocolate, then it'll melt the same as any
Just
other
put it on
marshmallow.
small like you would. And then the other question is, somebody asked, could you toast them like toasted marshmallows?
Yes, you can. What we do with the marshmallows is we get 2 chocolate digestive biscuits. Really not good if you're doing your January diet like myself. You get 2 chocolate digestive biscuits, put your marshmallow over on a stick over your hob just so it melts a little bit, and then we put it in between 2 biscuits, and it's like small, and they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they are.
But I just need to go back to get my tray ready because this is nearly done now. So as you can see, it's lightened up, which is what happens with the chocolate marshmallows. I'm just going to put that on really low because it is ready, but my tray's not ready. So I'm just going to nip back over here and quickly show you what we did with the tray again. So you have to excuse the mess that I've made. I haven't had time to wipe it up. But I've just got here a brownie tin, which works out best for this recipe, and it just fill it all nicely. So we're just going to go past the tin, so we've got enough to go over.
So just go on.
I'm just going to brush with the oil. So we need to push it down while we're brushing. So again, I'm using this little silicone brush just because it won't let any little hairs on my normal pastry brush. All the little hairs come out of it, and it drives me mad because I'm trying to get them out, but with marshmallow, you're just not getting it out. So if you can get one of these little silicone brushes, I actually picked this up in the supermarket, one of the bigger ones, and it is being amazing.
Right, let me just ask a couple of questions, Laura. Somebody said, can you make a sugar-free method? I wouldn't have thought so, would you? Because marshmallows is sugar, isn't it?
Sugar-free. I've never done it, so I can't say. I don't know, to be honest.
I wouldn't know.
Because the thing is, with this recipe, maybe with the egg white recipe, I've never done egg white marshmallows, but with the with this one, it's obviously the liquid glucose is sugary, the icing sugar, the granulated sugar, it is sugar. So I'd have to have a look into that because I'm not too sure.
Yeah, okay. Let me just ask some more questions while we're here busy. Anetta, the recipe is on the top of our page, so when this live's finished, it's actually on the top of our page. Plus, we'll tell you afterwards, when the mix is finished, we'll go over some of these questions again. Let me look. Oh, well done, Laura. Office Laura's answered the question. Helen Mills can't see all the comments. I'm not quite sure why you can't see them, Helen, but you will be able to read all the comments after without having to watch the live again. Iris is definitely going to have a good go at the marshmallows. Iris.
Yeah.
Iris, I tell you, Iris, you will love these.
Yeah, and let us know how you get on with these recipes.
Yeah.
We want to see how you've got on with them as well. So we're here to show you how to do it and help you, and hopefully you'll get.
Share them with us.
Yes, you can share your pictures. But we would love to see. I would love to see that I have actually helped somebody learn how to do something. I Yeah, please let us know, send us a picture. So I'm just going to go back to this marshmallow. Sorry to keep changing, don't know where to be. Obviously, the
You're on this
slowest
camera now.
camera will do. But I'm just going to go back over to my marshmallow because I don't want to over whisk it, because if you over whisk it, that is when you're going to get it all too sticky and you're not going to be able to move. So what I didn't do before, and I'm going to show you now, just to give you another little tip, is that any of the things that you use in any of your utensils that you're going to use, if you brush a little bit of oil, snip over here, onto your spatula, just like that, it's just going to help that little bit more if you're struggling to get it off, and sometimes it is really hard to get it all out. So I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on there just to help loosen it up off the side of my mixer. So John, I'm going to walk over this way. Are you coming with me? I'm going back over to our tray. Are you ready?
I'm just going to are you going to ask questions, Sean?
So we're back over here. So sorry to be so to and fro-ing, but it's just the way it is. If it was in my kitchen, I'd have my back to you the whole time because my hob is not facing
It's not on
anybody else. So I'm just going to get that mixture into there.
Lindsay said she's back off to the shops again, back onto marshmallows.
Yeah, why
She's just
not?
ordered chocolate mint actually.
And this smells absolutely lovely. And if you are going to lick any of the marshmallow out of the bowl, which I'm guilty of, make sure it's cool.
Yeah. Well, what I did with the other one, I put water in it straight away, but I think I'm going to have to just taste this one.
So I'm just going to...
Ooh, look at this, Maria.
So I'm just going to wrap up this chocolate one. So again, we're just using the side of the cling film that we've oiled already to go over the top there like that.
That's nice, isn't it?
And then again, I just fold that one extra layer over and snap it off there.
Wow.
Okay, so
Laura,
we've
that
done
is gorgeous. I think it has to be chocolate mint marshmallows all the way now. That's absolutely gorgeous.
So I don't know whether you can see here, we've got our 3 different types of marshmallow. We've got our Turkish Delight, which I've coloured pink, Turkish Delight. We've got the Raspberry Ripple that we added in the jam to, and then we've got our chocolate variation. So just to show you that you can use any of the icing sugar flavours, you don't have to use a particular one, they all work just as well. So next I'm going to chop up the ones that we made earlier, and I'm going to show you what you need to do.
And I have to tell you, oh my god, this tastes good. Yeah.
So I'm just going to create a little
This
bit
is so
of
bad.
space. So
Taste a bit, John.
John's not got time.
You sure you don't want this bowl back, Laura?
No.
Big on you.
I started my January diet, which was not a good time to start, but I started it last week and I'm doing really well at the moment, so I don't want to be licking the bowl. I'll just have a bit of Nutella lately, because technically they are fat free. But
I just want to see how your brother's coping with baby Harrison.
I forgot about him.
Do you want a knife?
Just into me baking now. Yes, I need a sharp knife and I need a board to chop up with. So I'll just grab them if we can. So I've just got a large bowl here, and then I've got my marshmallow that we prepared earlier. So I'm just going to unwrap that. So as you can see, the cling film has come off really well because of the oil. Just put that there. So I've got some corn flour here.
Here you go.
Now you need to have 35 grams of corn flour. Thank you. You're going to need a chopping board to chop it up on, and you're going to need the other 50 grams of your icing sugar. So this one is the Turkish Delight. So again, we'll just grab this here to get this mixture ready. Now what we're doing here is just stopping the marshmallow from being sticky, giving it a dry coating, but we're adding a little bit more flavour because why not? Because a lot of marshmallow recipes you just add corn flour, but as we're using Turkish delight, we might as well add a little bit more. So I'm just going to pop in 50 grams into my bowl.
You'd be pleased to know our baby's very happy.
I'm just saying, I forgot about him, got into me baking, and just like, it's not very often that I'm by myself anymore. So,
you've been praised and you're proud.
A little treat. Okay, so I've actually gone a little bit over, but that's fine. So we're just going to pop that in there, and then we're just going to get 35 grams of the corn flour. There we go.
Oh, somebody's saying she makes sugar-free marshmallows with
Xylitol.
xylitol.
I've never heard of that, but if you want to share your recipe, I'm sure we can change it so that you can
well,
use
we can have a go, can't
use
we?
our icing sugar in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can give it a go.
Yeah, I've got xylitol here. Do you want to do another batch?
Have you? I don't even know what it is. So I'm just going to add my corn flour to my icing sugar. Can you see that? All right. Or I'll pop it over here. You see that?
Yep, with
Right, camera up. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on
So
that one.
I'm just going to mix that in together.
Somebody's saying the only problem with sugar-free is the icing sugar is not sugar-free and there's no alternatives, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
has got to be some sugar in there somewhere,
Yeah.
but obviously if you want to reduce it down because you want to make a slightly healthier version, or
Yeah.
then yeah, you can give it a go. So I've just got all that mixed in ready, like that.
And is that set in time? This has had.
So to see if it's set, we should be able to lift it away.
Oh, look at that.
So
Oh, it's
set.
exciting.
So
Turkish delight flavour.
it is still going to be messy, but I'm just trying to do a few things just to try and
Yeah.
help a little bit, to try and make it a bit easier.
Yeah, we're speeding the process.
It's not really much that I do that isn't messy, to be honest. So I'm just going to peel away the cling film. So as you can see, that oil has stopped it from sticking. But if you didn't use the oil, I'm just going to put that down, don't know why I'm holding it. If you didn't use the oil, it sticks to the side there. Can you see that? Can you see it?
Yeah, just turn it round again, that way.
It's stuck a little bit there. If you didn't use any oil, it would just all stick and you'd never get it out of your tray.
No. So that's quite important that they do that,
that's
isn't
very
it?
important. So I have got my oil here again. So I'm just going to put a little layer on my brush, just to hopefully make it a little bit easier to cut. Now you can cut this however you want, and you can also use your cookie cutters to cut, but again, if you just put a little bit of oil on your cookie cutter, if you wanted to do heart shapes or star shapes, then you could do. We have done that before for Valentine's Day, but I'm just going to chop this into some nice big chunks, because then if you have one and it's massive, you still only add one.
Yeah, but they're the best ones.
So that's what we're going to go with.
Right, I put the camera down there now
Right.
to look at you there.
Okay, so we're just going to chop through.
Let me see if there's any more questions. Which way do the questions go, John?
Separate, so I'm just going to butcher that over there.
Debbie Stevenson says any oil or a particular oil. It's vegetable
I
oil.
always use vegetable oil,
Yeah.
just because it doesn't have that really strong taste. Some
And I've
oils
just
can
and
be- can-
I've just
can
seen
have that
Laura
taste.
here is doing her job and she's answered it already. Well done, Laura.
Thanks. So I'm just chopping it into nice big chunks, but again, go as big or as little as you want.
Helen Mills, the chocolate mint icing sugar is icing sugar, not cocoa
Yes,
powder.
it's very important that you're using icing sugar. If you use cocoa powder, it's not going to go very well.
No.
That is going to be a disaster. It's very important that it's icing sugar. Our chocolate icing sugar is obviously chocolate, a little bit of cocoa powder in with the icing sugar. So if you wanted to make it, it does need to be a chocolate icing sugar.
Yeah. Emily Richards says she doesn't like marshmallows. She doesn't like marshmallows, but she's definitely going to try these. I'm telling you now, Emily, when she does
change
these...
your mind. The thing is, most people have only ever tried a shop marshmallow, and these are different.
Yeah.
They are not full of all the normal preservatives that they put into the shop bought ones. So do give them a go, and if you don't like them, which you can't see, being honest, then definitely everyone else that you do make them for will.
Love them.
So I've just chopped up a line of the marshmallow, and I'm just gonna bring my bowl over so you can see it a bit better on the top one.
Yeah.
So I've got my chunks here, and what you're going to do is you're just going to roll them around so you get a nice thin coating of your icing sugar and corn flour mix. And I don't know whether you can pick up that this is a pink colour, but if you were chopping up the raspberry ripple one, which we will get chopped up later so that you can see that, you will see the jam running through the middle where you've chopped it. So if I can just grab a little bowl here.
They're just talking about the sugar-free, that we can't do a sugar-free, so just have a smaller piece. That's Joe Fitchett, don't be greedy, have a small bit.
So that's what you're looking for. So as you can see now, there's no stickiness there now, it's being absorbed by the icing sugar and corn flour mix. So when I pop all these into the bowl here, just tapping off any...
John's got his fingers in that chocolate mint bowl, Laura.
I can feel John sneaking around. You might see John today because he's sneaking around to get
If I'd realised and put the camera on, we would have caught him.
Yeah. So there's your marshmallows. You see them?
Yep, we're on
So
to the
as you can see, I can pick them up and separate them because they're not sticky anymore and they're ready to eat.
Yeah, and obviously you've made really big chunks. They're
Yes.
about 1.5 inches and by 1
They're
inch.
the best chunks. This is what you want. Don't be shy. You've got
Yeah.
plenty of marshmallow, and this does make quite a lot. I've never actually weighed out what we've had because normally by the time I'm making it, people are taking it, so it's hard to see the full amount. But I'm going to chop up the rest of this, and then later we can show you.
Yeah, go on, taste one of those Turkish Delight ones. Are those the Turkish
The
Delight?
Turkish Delight ones.
Come on, we'll
yeah.
have to have one of those each, won't we?
So excuse me if I get it all around my mouth.
I'll have one.
Here.
Try.
Here we are.
Right,
Yes, please.
you can have one, Irene. Oh, by the way, we've got a newbie in the kitchen, Irene. You haven't seen her, she sat behind John.
John, you might want to, I just shoved it all in one, but you might want to break that into two.
Oh my God, Laura, they are gorgeous.
So these marshmallows are really light, they're fluffy, and they taste really nice. I'll just see.
That's a Turkish Delight flavour. That is gorgeous. Honestly, you have to buy that. That is so nice, isn't
Put it
it?
on that camera up there so I can show them. So
A minute.
just to show you the consistency of what it should be like. So we've got this lovely, fluffy, and it should stretch. Look at that. Imagine that melted.
And you've got to remember, guys, these are nothing like the shop bought. The shop bought tend to be a bit dry and have a bit of like a crusty texture over the
That's
top, don't they?
because they've been in the bag for so long.
Yeah, they've had
Because
a
you
look.
don't really know when they were made. They do get that harder coating, and that's why when you open it and it's been out in the air, it does over time get that coating on it. So they make the marshmallows, and then they've got to go down all the little conveyor belts to get to the bagging area. By that time, they've already got that little bit of crust.
Well, they are gorgeous. I'm glad you
Forget
gave them a
theirs
go.
and eat ours.
I think I've just blown my diet. Right, so Wendy Ann Preston says, this has engrossed in my paint in the cart. Oh, I know, she's painting her cake cart and she stopped painting it while she's been watching this. So let's just see what else, other questions that's been going on here. Elaine Lawton, oh my lord, how can you not like marshmallows? I adore them. Elaine, you must give these a go because you're another one who does try all our recipes. And I'm telling you now, you and Stephen are going to love these. Your gang are going to love them. Sally Webster, how long they will keep? Laura recommends for 5 days approximately. I will tell you, we have had them longer, but we prefer them.
It's like anything. When it's homemade, it's fresher. Everything's always nicer within that first couple of days. The first 5 days a week, perfect marshmallows. After then, you do get that slight bit of crusting where it's starting to dry. So I'm just saying that it's 5 to 7 days mainly to get it at its best as it is today. So if you want to go a little bit longer or you're making them for somebody, then normally they are absolutely fine.
Geraldine says, thank you, Laura, for doing this.
You're welcome.
Emily is definitely going to go shopping now. She's the one who doesn't like marshmallows.
Oh, right.
We are going to convert Emily.
Hopefully we can change you into a marshmallow.
Elaine Lawson says, stop it, I'm drooling, because in fairness to Elaine, we've got a lot of people on here that when we do a live actually do follow what we do. Right. So Kat Riley, Elaine Lawton, Martin Dursley, Wendy Ann Preston.
Making it as we go, or
no, they don't make it as we go, but they follow the live and they do post, and that's so nice that there's so many of you that actually do that,
and it does give other people that are watching the confidence to do it as well. So
you're definitely your mother's daughter. I was going to say the same sentence.
Learn from my mum. I was all nervous when I got here, and now I've got into it. I feel like I'm at home again with the Sugar and Crumbs team. We just need to sort out whether I'm Laura 1 or Laura 2, and then it's all good.
You're always number 1. She'll have to be number 2 off as well.
I'm gonna start making marshmallows and radio.
So Rosalind said, can you use alcoholic jams? Of course you can.
Yes,
you can use anything.
You can use any jam.
Could use Nutella as well, or anything.
Yeah, you can use Nutella in your chocolate one. I've made the pina colada marshmallows, and I actually put a passion fruit jam through it, which was really nice. And it's just, again, it depends when you're making it. If you're doing it in the summer, it's nice to just like change it up, and if you've made it for people before, just so that they can see that you're really good at everything.
Ria says, thank you for such a fun demo, one of the best ones she's seen, and should definitely be blogging about this and our recipe, about you and our recipe. And Lindsay McIver has listed so many ones that she's done. I think Lindsay has actually made every one apart from Turkish Delight and Chocolate Mint.
Right, well I've covered you then.
So let's see, Laura, can you use light condensed milk for fudge? We've just gone on to a fudge recipe there.
Yes, you can.
That's next month's recipe, baby.
Yeah, I am going to be coming back to do fudge. Obviously I need to sort out somebody having Harrison, but I have said to my mum that I will try and come in as often as I can to help with the baking. And seeing as my husband hates me doing any baking at home, it is good to come out for the day and have a go and
let's be fair. Let's just tell everybody.
My husband doesn't know where I am, so if you've seen me, don't say where I am. Apparently I'm hanging out with my mum and then I'm going to IKEA, which I am going to do afterwards, but you haven't seen me here.
Thankfully he doesn't have a Facebook account, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Elaine Lawton says, you like a duck to water, Laura. Di Wheeler, I'm sorry I had to go out, just got back. Hello Di, don't worry,
Hi.
You can watch it afterwards. Iris, Laura, you are a clone of your mother. This is why you're the number 1 girl, you see. The other office Laura has to be number 2. We're training office Laura to be the next clone. Right, okay then, let's see if we've got any more strong flavours. I was going to say, I've got any more strong flavours, actually I'm just reading Kat Riley's comment. Nice strong flavour. So Kat follows everything we do as well, and give Kat her due. She has to go at everything. You know what, this is a great community because there's more than I've actually said. There's a lot more people who watch us, who follow these recipes.
The good thing is, like, while I've been at home with Harrison, especially, when he wasn't sleeping through the night, which he has been doing now, thankfully, I wasn't always getting time to come onto the Facebook Lives and watch my mum as much as I'd like to. But it is nice that you can come back and you can watch it, and that people have answered questions, and there's a lot of things that I don't know how to do, and I've learned from the guests that we've had on, and things that my mum have done. She's taught me a lot as well, so it is nice that everybody wants to help each other, so thank you for that. Right,
Bev King says, can vegan marshmallows be made? Sorry for arriving late.
Yes, you can get the gelatine. You can use the veggie gel.
Yeah.
I have used the Dr. Oetker one, which is used very well. I've used it and it works very well. I do know other people have bought the supermarket owned one and haven't had that much of a good experience with it. So I would just stick to the Dr. Oetker one. If something works, then go with it.
Yeah.
Especially if someone else has tried it as well, or if anybody else has done the veggie one and can give us any information that we can pass on to everyone else, and that'd be great as well.
can you use any melted chocolate instead of Nutella? Of course.
Yes,
you can
you
put
can.
anything in
You
these
can put-
marshmallows.
you can, yeah. Because when you're pouring it into the tray, it does start to set straight away because it's in the air. So you do need to have whatever you're going to use ready beside you. If you are going to use chocolate, I would use it while it's just being melted. So while your marshmallows are whisking, I would have the chocolate heating up on my pan, in my pan, ready, so that it's just easier to glide through the marshmallow when you put it into the tray. Otherwise, if you're trying to just get Nutella or something straight out of a jar, it's just going to be a bit more difficult to spread through.
Right, Rosalind said she's only had a go at making marshmallows once, and that was with the egg white. The method you have demonstrated is so much easier. And this is the easy one, because we were confused. Do you remember once, Laura, when we made marshmallows?
The first time I made it, people kept saying, "Where's the egg whites? Where the eggs whites?"
The egg whites are missing, yeah.
Yeah, I've never made marshmallows with egg whites, but this recipe, you know, it's just always worked. Apart from me messing up this morning, which was my fault. That was my fault. I was not paying attention because I was trying to sort out Harrison, and I let my gelatine set. So you just need to make sure that you're constantly whisking that gelatine, and that your water is warm when you put it into it, so it can start to dissolve straight away.
And also, don't do 2 batches at once like
Yes,
we've done. We've
like
done
me.
that for speed.
Yeah,
We've done that for speed, so
I
we can have
show
3.
you the 3 different types that
Yeah.
we're doing.
Okay, looks yummy, can't wait. So Wendy, thanks guys. A customer has asked us to make a less calorie one. Not relevant today, so that's about fudge. We're going to do fudge next time Laura's in. Sharon, only just switched on. Where can I find the recipe? Sharon, when this Facebook Live finishes, everyone, just refresh the page and go back to this post. Maria will go and pin this post to the top of the page. So give us 5 minutes after the live to pin it to the top of the page, and the recipe link will be there. Also, Laura, do you want to point out how they can find the recipes?
Yeah, let me just put some cauliflower on my fingers because I've just been trying to get all this chopped up so you can see how much marshmallow.
Hey, this Laura's getting good, you
We've
know.
actually
The Office
made.
Laura's answered the questions already. Well done.
It's
Jane
long.
Allen. Hi, Carol. I'm sorry I'm late. Stressing in my kitchen as I had a power cut halfway through. Every time I've ordered from you, we get snow. Don't order in the summer.
Don't order in the winter.
No, if she says she gets it every time she
Oh, right,
orders,
yeah,
don't order in the summer. We don't get much summer, do we?
No.
I don't want to jinx it. Right, okay then. So,
Okay, so
those
let me
are
just
marshmallows.
quickly, try my hands and then I
So,
can show
you're
you.
going to...
So on the back of all our packaging, we have the website. So this is the, and all the back of the packaging, it does have this on. So if we just turn it round, there's a little box here, and on here,
It's up there, the pink one above it.
on here, it does say, for more delicious recipes, please visit www.sugarandcrumbsmixingup.com, and on there is the marshmallow recipe. I've actually put on the raspberry ripple marshmallows, the chocolate marshmallows. There's 2 separate recipes just so you can see. But again, just replace that icing sugar with any icing sugar that you want to, and with the raspberry ripple, if you're using a chocolate one and want to use chocolate sauce, you just use the same quantities. So all the recipes that are on our website have been tried and tested by myself or by some of our bloggers that have helped us with recipes, so they all do work. So that's just
brilliant.
in that little box up here.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so let's go back to here. As any of the other ones, I'm going to let John take over the camera again. As any of the other recipes, any of the other mixtures set yet, Laura? Have they had long enough to set?
I don't actually know what time we finished.
Right. Is there any way we
So
can
we
turn
definitely
this on
need
whilst
a bigger
we're
bowl because I've still got loads left. I've got all this marshmallow, so make sure you've got a bigger bowl to pop it all in. Probably needed this one to put them in.
And there's still loads left to cut there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's looking good. Very exciting.
Okay, so let's have a look. So I made the raspberry ripple one first, so that's going to have more chance of...
Just cut it up just to show how it's... How long's that been there? That's been about half an hour now, hasn't it, I think?
So you know that it's set when you're peeling it away and no marshmallow is coming onto your cling film. So if I just...
Oh, that's a good tip, isn't it?
Lift. So again, I've got a little bit on the tray there, so I've got a little sticky point. That's because there was no oil there. So if you just lift away, you can see that it's set. So it is between half an hour and 45 minutes. If it was very hot in your kitchen, it is going to take that little bit longer.
Now what they will have to remember, the jam won't set. So
no, but the jam doesn't set, but when we roll it in the corn flour icing sugar mix, it covers it in, so it kind of gives it a little seal so that when you're picking it up, you're not getting jam all over your fingers.
yeah, good.
So
We won't cut that one up. And should we have a look at this one, even though this one's later, just to show them when it's not set? So this one's...
It has cooled down
quite a bit. So you don't need to put these in the fridge, guys, remember.
So as I'm lifting this up here, you can see. Can you see on this camera? Here.
So as you can see, this one's
not set because as I'm trying to pull this back, there's little bits of marshmallow sticking to my cling film. So that's when you don't want to be trying to chop it up.
So we need to give that another 10-15 minutes, don't we?
So we're just going to wrap that one back up.
I'm dying to taste that one. The Turkish Delight's amazing. The raspberry rip, I've got to be honest, we've had loads of them, haven't we? We've made Jaffa Twist ones. I mean, Lindsay McIver, the marshmallow queen, she's actually made, I think, nearly every flavour. I think there's just chocolate mint and Turkish Delight that she possibly hasn't made. So, is that the end of our session today, Laura?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So,
okay, are we back on the camera there, John? We're both on here. So, mother and daughter team today, and no mother had to keep running to look after someone's baby who's screaming his head off, and big brother's now looking after him. Apparently he's all Uncle, yeah, your big brother.
My big brother,
yeah. Uncle, anyhow, is now looking after the baby, and Harrison, I will say, is lovely and calm, I do believe. He was when I went in 5 minutes ago. So what I'm going to say, thank you for joining us. This is a session every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. We're going to do a Facebook Live. We also do a Facebook Live at 8 o'clock every Monday night. And the Thursday ones are going to be more about baking, whereas the Monday ones are going to be more about cake decorating and products. So just to remind you, the sale is still on. It definitely finishes Sunday night at midnight. I'm currently working on the site at the moment. I'm putting loads more things in the clearance cupboard. So check out that clearance cupboard because John and I have got some new ideas for the website. We want to bring in some new products, not straight away, but over the year. When we get guests on, we'll be bringing some of their products in. And basically what we're going to do now is when we bring guests in, we're going to bring the products in for that week, not forever, and we're going to try and bring them in so that they're on specials for that week, get them sold, get them out, and then keep on with our own products. So we want to change lots of things for Sugar and Crumbs website this year. This is all going to be pinned to the post. As soon as we finish, give us 5-10 minutes. Maria will get everything pinned to the top of our Facebook page. Apologies again for our delay. We were delayed because Laura had a catastrophe with the marshmallow. I had a catastrophe with baby Harrison. And not only that, when we did go live, we went live on our personal page, which was John's catastrophe. So a whole load of fun in the kitchen.
One each.
So I just want to say thank you. Get out, get your icing sugars, get them made, share them on our page. And you know what? When you're following us, give some credit to us where you learned the recipe. Make sure you share this episode. One of the biggest ways you can help us is by liking this session today and sharing it. And you know what? Currently live at the moment. How many people are currently live at the moment? 52. So as soon as we finish, if I get 52 shares and you all ask your friends to watch it and share, how amazing would that be? So those are live followers, and we've lost some customers because they've had to say that they've had to leave because they're going to work or whatever it is that they're doing on the day. But please share our Facebook page. It would really we'd really appreciate it. And make sure
at the same time.
Both make sure you go and keep buying your products for the sale. And check out the clearance cupboard. And I think that's it. Have we got any more to say, Laura?
No, not at the moment. We'll just follow up with a few questions and we'll let you come back to you about freezing the marshmallows as well.
Don't disconnect yet, John. Is there any questions anybody wants to ask before we go?
No. People asking if we're still doing free buttercream samples.
We
New
are
flavours.
doing free buttercream samples of the new flavours. We're not putting them in the order unless you ask for them. Don't message me. The boys in the warehouse start in the warehouse at 7 in the morning, and I don't really see what they're doing that early in the morning. If you want the free buttercream samples of the new gin and tonic, prosecco and mojito, there's a delivery notes option. So in the delivery notes, make sure you put a message there that you want the new buttercream flavoured samples, the little sample pots. If you don't put it in there, you won't get it. The problem is the process of the warehouse. If you ask me later, we've got to go and find the parcel, undo the parcel and repack, and I'm taking up more of the boys' time. So make sure if you want those free buttercream samples, and people who don't know what I'm on about is, John and I are seriously thinking of bringing out 3 new flavours, gin and tonic, prosecco and mojito, and we'll have to say I don't think the mojito is going to happen. The feedback for that it's been a 50-50, do you know what I mean, where the other 2 have been amazing feedback. And the price of flavouring, the way that flavouring is, we can only now put product on our shelves that has amazing feedback. And it's also, while we're looking at some of our flavoured icing sugars, we're going to discontinue some of our lines, not because they don't get good feedback, they don't get amazing feedback. So we need all our top sellers, and those that are not top sellers, we're going to change for other things. Does that make sense?
One more question. Can you use alcohol in the marshmallows? Would it change the recipe or the
Laura and I don't
consistency?
drink, so we don't know.
The only problem with adding alcohol is that it is obviously adding that liquid form. So it would, if you're going to try it, it'd have to go in once the sugar mixture and gelatine go into the mixer. It'd have to go in at that point.
I've got to
couldn't put it in any later, because obviously it's liquid and you need it to volume up with the marshmallow.
I've got to be honest, guys. I wouldn't probably put it in. I'd wait
until
until
we bring out our new flavours.
until we bring out the gin and tonic and prosecco. And by the way, the gin and tonic has got no alcohol in it, but it tastes amazing. And the prosecco has got no alcohol in it, and it tastes amazing. So when those come out, I think they're going to be out for the end of February. So don't look for them on the website. They're not ready yet. We're launching them for the end of February, early March. The reason there's a delay, we can't just buy the flavouring. The flavouring has to be made. It's a freeze-dried flavouring. When we order it, it has to be made. It has to go through all the process of being freeze-dried and granulated and grinded down and all those things. It takes a very long process, hence why it's so expensive. So we are waiting, that's in production. Then we've got to make it, so we should be launching round about the end of February, early March with those flavours. And you know what, we might get Laura back again, just so we can taste them.
To make some.
So is that us done?
Yeah.
I think that's us done. So thank you for joining us. We're going to go and relieve Harrison now from Wesley. We'll see you Monday night, 8 o'clock live. Don't forget, there's 58 of you live. Share it. Bye.
Okay, so we've wrapped the raspberry ripple, just doing a little test here because we've wrapped it up in some cling film. What we're going to do is we're going to freeze it so that we can let you know whether it is freezable or not, and also whether the jam sets. So we're just going to get a better idea. So I'm just going to pop that aside, and we're just going to chop open our chocolate mint. Okay, so now it's coming away easier from the cling film. We know that it's ready. And it smells lovely. You can smell it as soon as you open it. You can just get all that chocolate mint taste, smell. See, I'm thinking about tasting it because it smells so good. Okay, so again, I'm just going to brush my knife with a little bit of oil. It doesn't always work, but if you can help yourself, just keep your knife a little bit clean. It does make it easier for washing as well, so you just want to cover the whole thing like that. Just what we're going to use is, I've got in here 35 grams of corn flour and 50 grams of the chocolate mint icing sugar. So we've just placed it in here after we've measured it out, and we're just going to mix that up ready, because we're going to put our marshmallows in there once we've chopped them. So if we can move that over a little bit. So as you can see, the marshmallow is quite oily at the moment, and that's just because it's been in the cling film. So it's very sticky. which is why we put that oil on. There we go. And when we put it in that icing sugar mix, what it's going to do is it's going to take that stickiness away. So I'm going to chop a few pieces off like that and pop them in there. And then we're just going to roll these around in this mix and just tap off the excess and then place them into a clean bowl. And that's just going to stop them from sticking together when you're storing them. Okay, so we'll chop some more and just repeat that. So it is quite messy this, so don't worry, make a mess, clean it up, worry about it later. You can cut this as big or as little as you want. Just make sure that all the sides are coated nicely. There we go. If your knife does start to get a bit sticky again, then just put a little bit more oil onto it. It all gets absorbed by that icing sugar mix anyway.